Hey everyone, I just wanted to get on here and talk a little bit about something I've been doing for a while. And I don't know, it might be a little bit controversial, but it's been working out for me and I have a lot of thoughts about it. So I thought I would just like sit down, make an official video like themed around it, and then kind of see where it goes from there. So if you haven't been watching my shorts, I've started a little series called Empties for Samples. I am very lucky that I live in a region or in a place, United States specifically, where there are stores that offer beauty samples. Stores that I have been frequenting for them would be Sephora specifically and Credo Beauty specifically. I'm not actually, I really haven't asked for samples from like Ulta, and I know just like general drugstore wouldn't have them, but like I think other dedicated beauty stores would have them. But I think it's mainly the idea that whenever I finish products that I have to at the beginning it was like finish three makeup items, kind of not just like samples but like actual items, and then when I bring them to the store, which is why I specifically called out Sephora and Credo Beauty, because they actually have like recycling initiatives for at their store. And so then I would kind of drop off my empties there and then be able to kind of shop in the store for a few samples, specifically like color products, and or skincare or whatever else they can provide for samples. I kind of get that experience of shopping and get my samples, but not necessarily feel the pressure and take that pressure off myself of like, oh, I need to buy something from here. I think sometimes, I don't know, I get in this trap too. It's like, oh, if they're offering me a service, then I need to give my money back. But none of the associates there are working off of commission, right? I think it'd be another thing if they were working off of commission and whatever, and they provide a service for me, so I need to, pay for them or whatever. But they're not, to my understanding, they're not working off of commission. So like as long as they can help me get my sample, then like, it'll be fine. Like if they're super busy, I do my best not to bother them. Like I'll just walk out. But sometimes I try to time it so that it's kind of a quiet time. And so, like if they're willing to help me, then I'll ask for it. And so it's been, honestly, over the last few months, it's been really, really cool to even watch my own collection shift with all these samples in place, and to even be a little bit more intentional about like, why am I going to the store? Is it to get the sample or is it to give back the empty? Can I wait on it? I think just like really challenging myself in those areas, because I do feel the urge sometimes. Like I want to get some empty so I can get some samples, but then it's like, what am I getting? What's the sample for? Especially because of those little like sample jars, they can sometimes dry out the product a little bit quicker. So, so even then I have to be like, is this really a sample I want if it's just gonna dry out? That did happen to me. Sometimes I can decant them and repackage them into something that I already have. And other times, you know, thankfully it's not money lost, but I've lost out on the product, And I think to give the same dedication that I have to those samples as I do to my regular collection products that I might have paid full price for or even discounted price, but like I paid for the full size. I think to give even that same dedication towards my samples has been pretty cool to see. So I just wanted to throw out some thoughts to you guys. I already talked a lot already, but let me throw out some more thoughts. that's why I film, right? Just talk at you guys. I think there are specific products that I've been really like eyeing for samples and challenge myself to, once I use up my full size, to instead pivot towards samples and not necessarily be searching and like hunting for the next thing that I'm going to put my money towards, right? I think some samples that do last a long time would be like eye cream. So specifically, this is a Credo Beauty packaging. This is the sample container they give. I don't know if I have an example of the Sephora one that they give. I might have one in here. Let me go ahead and check. But yeah, the Credo Beauty one is like quite, like, here we go. So the Sephora sample one is just like a little clamshell, and then Credo Beauty is, because they're really, really focused on sustainability, they've actually created sample jars out of like green tea leaves or something like that, and they actually do recommend that once you're done with the sample to clean it out and bring it back in, and they just like add on a little sticker on top. Is that one of this one? I don't think so. I think I gave the other one back. I can't remember. And they just like Oh, I know where it is. That's in like another place. But some they just like put another sticker on top and then fill it up with the next sample. And because these are quite big, you get a pretty generous amount of sample. This was an eye cream. Been working out of this jar for I would say about 3 weeks for an eye sample. I think that's quite generous. This was a recent little lip sample that they gave me. I don't know if my lighting is going to do justice, but this will last me about a week as well. So yeah, pretty generous. The Sephora ones are a little bit smaller. Another thing, I think I'll get to it a little bit later, but let me get back to it. So, so sometimes lip products, you know, of course, not like the ones where you can't chop it or anything off. You can't get anything out of a doe foot applicator, but things out of like squeezy tubes, they can give you a sample of. So that's really handy. And then, eye creams are really helpful. I repackaged mine into this, airtight packaging from MAC, but yeah, this was also another sample from Credo Beauty. It's an RMS cream eyeshadow. Yeah, it's just like, you know, things that go super slow, right? Like eye creams, cream eyeshadows. I mean, the lip stuff, not really, but it's just nice to like try to test out colors and formulas and stuff like that. So I think that's really helpful in terms of that one. I think one of the next things I'm going to be trying out is like primers and stuff, and just like feel the texture and kind of how it reacts to the other makeup that I put on, to get samples for that. And because I do have empties pretty regularly and I can bring stuff back pretty regularly, like I feel like I can just continually ask for samples, and then really only put my money and invest in items that I really think I want that can't be put into samples, right? So for instance, I really have been enjoying the stick color items. So like lip liners and contour, like stick contours and stuff like that. And so I would go ahead and shell that out. I really wanted recently from Sephora, I really wanted the Rare Beauty lip gloss because you can't really get a ton of lip gloss samples, or at least an ample amount to like, especially the way I use them. So I bought it, you know, and I think just to be like a little bit more thoughtful about which items I'll actually purchase and invest in versus like, because I want that product, I'm going to buy it full size versus, okay, maybe I can try to get a sample out of it. Skincare is a little bit tough because, you know, your face is a much larger area than kind of the pinpointed eyes or lips. So I do find myself, either I haven't quite gotten to the point where I need to like purchase anything new lately. Since I've started this kind of, I'm just gonna call it an initiative, like that phrase just keeps coming to mind. And so, but I do think I will be purchasing like a sunscreen soon, a moisturizer soon. But like, I'm also thinking like leading up to my purchase that I can really try to utilize samples to find the right texture and the right product. Some of them are scented and I don't like that. So I think to even get the chance to try that and to kind of feel it out at least for a few days, to see if I really, really want to buy that next time I go in. And yeah, I don't know. I think that it's definitely a little bit of a different way to approach beauty consumerism and beauty just consumption in general. But I think it kind of it kind of answers a lot of questions for me in terms of the way I want to be approaching my collection and the way I want to use it up, and also the way I want to be investing in my makeup collection and the way that I want to be purchasing items. I think it's kind of one of those things that finally touches on both sides, because I feel like project panning is a lot about like use it up, use it up, use it up, and don't purchase anything. So, you know, some people go to that extreme, right? Like a no buy. And then, but it doesn't really, and then sometimes it touches on like, okay, what's my budget to be buying stuff and what comes in, but kind of what's like a decent solution that kind of answers both, you know? So it's not just, you're not just talking about what you've been spending, you're not just talking about what you've emptied, but kind of brings the two together. And it's definitely messing with my brain a little bit, I find, but it's been really, really helpful, I think, to, of course, minimize my spending, but also still allowing me to try new products. You know, the way that I like to enjoy beauty, and kind of the reason why it drew me in the first place was just how many different products there were. Of course, I want to try them all, but sampling is a really, really good way of being able to try different things, and specifically going to a store to touch, feel, ask questions, get recommendations. That's been a really good process for me too. Because sometimes I'm like, oh, I just do my own research on stuff. But honestly, I found a lot more enjoyment out of just like asking for recommendations, you know, because that's pretty much what my research is. It's like, okay, I have these types of qualifications that I want to look at, these types of items that things I want to check off. It has to be, not scented. It needs to have this color. It needs to whatever. And, these beauty advisors have so much, they've touched everything in the store. So why not just use their knowledge? I wish I could pay them for a little bit, even just a nominal fee for their knowledge. I wouldn't mind even paying like $1 or $2 or $5 a sample. I feel like that would be worth at least my money. Like, I don't know. Anyways, all that to say, yeah, it's been really cool. So I don't really like talking about actual beauty companies, but I'm just gonna take this section to talk about it. So if you have been following me for a little bit, you know that I actually like stepped away from Sephora for a little bit. I got really into the trap. I was like a member at Sephora, got really stuck in the trap of like their point system and like trying to buy stuff in order to get more points, blah, 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 blah. So the reason why I mentioned Sephora is because they do have like an actual station set up for empties. So then I basically go in, chuck in my empties, ask for some samples, maybe buy something full price, mind you, and don't look at my points. Like I treat my experience there as like I'm not really a member, even though for some reason they have me kind of as like an artifact member. Like they still have me in their system somehow, but I treat it as I'm not. And then so that's kind of how I treat my experience there, is like, okay, I only really will buy something from Sephora if I really, really want to. Credo Beauty has been an experience, and I think I need to talk this out to kind of get some accountability, to maybe just talk about my process a little bit. But Credo Beauty is all about sustainability, and they actually give you points for bringing in empties. So like every item that is smaller than, I think, like size-wise, like smaller than your fist and no taller or longer than the palm of your hand, they're willing to take as an empty and give you 10 points per item. Like if you break down the math and you're like, okay, if I have to redeem 500 points to get $10 off my purchase, then each empty is only about 20 cents, yada yada. You can also use your points towards, minis of items, so on and so forth. I could break it down as much as I wanted to. I could try to really game the system as much as I wanted to. But of course, that's a huge draw for me, is the fact that they give points for empties. I could, of course, not have an account there and not gain points and still, recycle my items with them and get their samples, because honestly, their samples are really, really nice. Those sample jars are super nice. And I did that for a little bit, but I think once I realized, I was like, oh, I can, if I can create some parameters around my experience at Credo Beauty, I think I'll really enjoy bringing my items there to be able to support them in kind of their approach towards beauty. They're all about sustainability, and they have a lot of products that have to meet their criteria in order to be featured in their store. So far, I think I've been really enjoying it. Of course, always going to look at large corporations with kind of a good dose of, I don't know, I wouldn't say skepticism, but like be careful with that. But so far I've been really, really enjoying my experience with Credo Beauty. So I just wanted to shout them out because you'll be seeing me get a lot more samples from them. So like, that's just kind of my experience with them so far and kind of how I want to engage with them. Of course, I bought the Ilia pencil from them. Where did I put it? I think it's this one. Yeah, I bought an Ilia pencil from them, but that's all I have. And I've actually visited the store at this point maybe 3 to 5 times, and never have felt pressure to purchase anything, which is awesome. And they've been super supportive of like me bringing back empties and asking for samples. And I hope that once I go back enough that they'll recognize like I'm really in it for the long term in terms of like supporting them in their sustainability kind of initiative. And, I think just kind of go from there and, be purchasing from them from time to time. Like, I think it's maybe just to talk it out loud a little bit, is like, I often do look for discounts for certain things. So like I can pick up a number of items. I'm just going to quickly pick up a few things, that are in my collection right now. I'm trying to see. Not that one. Yeah, okay, I'll just hold up these items. So like sunscreen, moisturizer, skincare, even this foundation, I got on discount. And I think has been my, that's often my approach to spending, is like if I can get it on discount, if I can get a good quality product on discount, then I'm gonna go for that. But I think between the samples and me, I actually just have a short list of items that I will really, over a course of a year, be buying brand new. I feel like I can actually buy them full price now. and like actually enjoy them for what they are rather than like speed run it and try to empty it, right? I think really use the sample process to find a product that I really like, invest in it, and of course it has to meet certain criteria that I have for what I want to bring into my collection. Um, and know that this the samples I'm getting throughout the year will basically offset the spending and in like the what am I trying to say, like the investment that I put into the products that I actually purchase. So maybe just to put an example out there, like I am probably never going to buy eye cream. I am never going to be buying, I won't say never, but it will be a long time before I buy some eye cream because samples last a long time. Eye primer or cream eyeshadow will probably be a long time before I buy any of that. I also do samples of, what was the other thing I sampled recently? Just like some like cream products that I don't necessarily want a full size of. So, you know, like, yeah, I think there'll be a number of things that I won't be really purchasing. I think the cream, the eye stuff, I think for is what comes to mind immediately. But I feel like just in the process of like searching for the right sunscreen, searching for the right moisturizer, like a good few months will be used up of just like me sampling some things and trying that out. Same thing with like face primer, even foundation, or even some color like base products. I can see myself really going through a good number of samples before I'm like, okay, I think I'm ready to make the investment now. And just to like really use the sample process to inform the things I actually purchase. So I feel like with a good chunk of time and a good chunk of my beauty product use is towards samples, that basically what I could have been spending instead there, it can now offset into like the things that I actually end up buying. I hope that makes sense. So I feel like I can actually really be investing in quality products and not just discounted products, even though there's a good number of discount products that are good quality too. But to really go into it rather than, I feel like some discount products I also have to buy kind of blind. And so now I like really already know the product before I go in. And actually, funny enough, this is one of those products, I will say. This is MAC Prep and Prime. I won't be purchasing from MAC moving forward, but I remember getting a sample of this product at least 2 or 3 times before I was like, oh, okay, this is like actually a good enough product for me to invest in. And there's only a handful of products in my collection that I can really say that to, and I hope that more will join that kind of category in this next year. So hopefully it kind of makes sense. I'm sorry, it's just really rambly, but I think I just wanted to end this being like, I really invite you to join me in this if you are in a place and ready to, right? I feel like there are some people in the panning journey where you just need to use up your full size items. Like, go do that. I want to shout out Creative Beauty as a potential spot you want to be putting your empties towards. You don't even need to be a member to, you know, actually recycle your products there. I know that they don't have a lot of like storefronts, and I don't even know if you could send them in or whatever. But Sephora has them as well, so I definitely say, like, you know, actually put your empties in those bins. And then, yeah, to really, if you need that type of incentive to be emptying things, that you could pick up the whole empties for samples type of idea, and kind of go from there. But, you know, I would say put your own products that are already in your collection as a priority. Like, they're going to be expiring, you know, the texture is going to change. Like, you really want to enjoy your collection before anything happens, right? And the samples will always be there. I think that's something that's so cool about really looking at samples, is like they're always going to be there, right? And there's no money that you put down for them, but you still get a similar experience. Of course, the type of product is a little bit capped because they have to be like sampleable. But still, I think for me, it's brought a lot of joy back into my beauty experience. I felt kind of bummed out for a long time that I couldn't try new things, that I was really stuck with what I had and had to stick with some of the methods that I've picked up along the way. But now I'm like, oh, I can actually really experience what the beauty industry has to offer and kind of all the new different formulas and things like that. So I will say I've been pretty excited about it. I hope that if it's something you want to at least check out or try or think about, invite you to. And if you have any questions for my process, let me know. And I hope to continue to put up my shorts about my empties for samples and maybe make some long form stuff like this from time to time, just to tell you and update you about how it's been going. So thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate you, and I will see you in my next one.